My second question that goes to you, Jeremiah. I wanted to know how you went through education. You know, in Uganda, children with disabilities or youth with disability do not go further with their education. What did you or your parents do to support you study up to university level? How was the struggle?
The struggle, it was full of discrimination, and what motivated me and my parents, they believed that if they take me to school, if they bear the situation of taking me to school, so sometimes to take me to school, it reached a level my mama could put me in her bag and she takes me to school. Meaning that the support from parents, it is the core. It becomes the core because they are the first people who deal with the situation when you're young. Them to accept that we need to live with this person with a disability. We need to put him as a family. When they are introducing me, in some families, they don't introduce people with disabilities, children with disabilities. They tend to sideline them. So acceptance from the family, it moved me with passion that I'm loved. So some people discriminated me, but my family members, they accepted to take me to school. My mom putting me on her back, and also accepting that in the future I will be a better person. So, and also advocated for me when I'm at school, when anything happens to me, if like the teacher abused me, I would rather keep quiet. Then when I go home, I would innovate it to my mom. Then for her, she could tell me that that is the same way God has created you. We cannot change. But she kept on accepting that she needed me to be a better person and accepting me to play. Each time when I asked for the ball to play at home, she could not insist. Sometimes if I'm making noise in play, she could rather disappear from the place I'm playing to give her peace and to give me peace. She accepted me to play, and that thing built my confidence in every part of my life.
Wow. That is very beautiful. I know advocacy is very strong, starting from family level, community level, up to the institutional level. So can you give us a brief on how your life was at university? What did you do at university level as a person with disability?
As a person with disability, at the university, I did not only study, but I advocated for my rights and the rights of others at the university. Advocacy that I did, it was allowing the university to give opportunity for students with different disabilities to participate in sports.
Wow.
And also I was the GRC representative.
What is the meaning of GRC?
The GRC is guild representative. The guild representative. I was representing persons with special needs at the guild, where I represented them, advocating for their rights and demanding for accessible promises at the university, starting from the lecture rooms, starting from places of inconveniences, and also to ensure that persons with disabilities are not discriminated from campus when they are studying. Above all, I was a team leader. I led persons with disabilities in sports. We took our team to Impigi, where we demonstrated sports activities, and in that team, demonstrating the sports activities, the community were able to see our abilities. We won trophies of victory that show our abilities, not our disabilities.
Yes. Wow, that is so great. I'm really inspired with your story. It is something that every youth with disabilities has to listen to your story, because it is something that changes how people look at disability. So when it comes to now employment, because we know in Uganda mostly people with disabilities, they don't get opportunity for employment. Can you give us a brief on how you manage to work or do internship, and what is your current status?
Above all, getting any placement for a person with disability, it does not come from a silver plate for us, for some other people, because every employer, every organization, they look at the ability of people. They look at, they don't, they if like they see me as a person with a disability, they first have their imagination in their mind that we cannot bring this person because the person is disabled. So me in person, I passed a lot of experiences where my applications were dumped into so many places that I could not recognize. Many places that applied, they called me for interviews and they could not feel sympathy of my ability. They rather saw my disability, and it is they ignored me to give a trial of work. Even if you are ashamed of, maybe you don't believe in the ability of that person, because you're seeing the disability, try and give a test to the person so that you will be able to realize what comes out of the person than you judging. It is something that demoralized me in most of the cases. I entered into the panel so many places and they could not give me a job because they were seeing my disability. But furthermore, it is I do re-echo that. But I do re-echo that. Let us see the ability, not the disability. Because what transpires in every person with a disability is the wisdom and the ability to deliver results. After my campus, I spent like 2 years when I was not working, and my family, they saw me as a burden. They saw me as someone who could not take care of himself, and education became very useless to me because I studied but I failed to get a job. It became very useless. It was something which is completely useless. They saw me as someone who could not provide for basic needs for myself. So, and for now, when I was enrolled at Ability Sports Africa as a volunteer, they are the first people who saw my ability, not my disability. I would like to congratulate the management of Ability Sports Africa, the executive director of Ability Sports Africa. They are the first people who believed that I have the computer skills, I have the ability to make decisions, I have the capacity, I have the skills, I can coach inclusive sports, I can inspire the young generation. It is something which kept me now to believe in myself. I believe that if organizations rise up, if employers, the human resources, if they rise up to see the ability of every human being, not the disability, we will find a world which is inclusive, the world that desires everybody.
Wow. Jeremiah, that is so inspiring. We at Ability Sports, we are really happy to have you as our staff, and you have done a lot of great work at the organization. So I want you to share for us a scenario whereby in your search for employment, as an institution maybe used you because of your disability. Do you have any experience in that line?
I don't have anybody that used my disability to give me the opportunity, except Ability Sports and Light for the World. They were the first people who believed that I can have the abilities to execute duties that every organization desires. They were the first people who believed that if they give me a task, I can deliver. They are the first people who believe that when I speak to the congregation, I can inspire the young generation, I can inspire more people to believe, to see that every human being, regardless of their disability, it is not the disability that execute duties, but the reasoning, the reasoning capacity that someone has. if you have the qualifications and you're able to execute duties, then you are not disabled, because what you're doing is what every normal person does. If it becomes to computer, if you are able to type, if you are able to save, if you are able to send to print, it means that the same thing that every person can do, not the disability. I may not be able to run, but I can have the same qualities of that person you are looking for.
Yes, thank you so much. So have you ever experienced discrimination among your staff, team of staff, that look at you as a different person, or maybe because we understand that all our staffs are from different background. Have you experienced any form of discrimination or stigma that comes from other teams?
It is an amazing that Ability Sports Africa is an organization that advocates for rights of persons with disability. I can testify that all our staffs, they don't succumb me to discrimination. They either see my ability, not my disability.
Wow, thank you so much, Jeremiah. Last, I want you to maybe share an advice to parents who are still keeping their children at home, and also advice to the youths who are really facing a lot of challenges in their journey of education, because we know education is key in lives of our persons with disabilities in the community. Can you share something that can really empower them, give them the confidence also to go through the process that you've gone through as a child or a youth?
Thank you. For the parents, I advise that all the parents having children with disabilities, however you see the disability in that child, do not put a question mark or end point to that child. That child can build on his or her abilities. Give it by doing exercises. If your child cannot sweat from day to day, cannot do any exercise that can awake the muscles, I believe that the child will not change. Give the child access to play sports, great sports activities that your child can play. And advocacy, you as a parent, the child cannot advocate because his or her is still what, a child. But you have to advocate for your child when you are at school. When the child comes back to school, from school to home, ask the child, what challenges have you faced today? What are the teachers saying about your disability? What are your colleagues saying about your disability? And advocate. Give access to the children to go to school. Don't keep your children at home. It is not the end point. There is a very impactful future for every child with disability. For me, if my parents had not given me a chance to study and a chance to play, I would be now talking to you when I'm on the wheelchair or when my scratches are aside. But for the parents, let's give opportunity for the children to play and to go to school and create advocacy for your child. Then for the youth who are at home and they don't know what all about can change their life. What all about can change your life is create a team that you can socialize with. Don't stay alone. Prove to the team that you have ability, not a disability. For me, I proved to my friends that I have ability, not a disability. For them to change my name to be the guy. For them to accept the fact that we need to create friendship with me. I had to prove to my abilities what I'm able to do. What is that thing that makes me to be different from the disability you see. So it is an advocacy that will create a change for organizations and for founders. We need an environment where every child with a disability can go to school, can play. We need a support to support the kids to go to school, to support the kids to play, to give access for them to sweat, to have exercise. It can create a change in our society, and the community will see our abilities as people with special needs, not our disability.
Yes, thank you so much, Jeremiah. That is so powerful. At Ability Sports, we look at the ability, not the disability. That is a slogan that we use, and we believe that every person with disability has the power to change the world. At Ability Sports, to support our podcast, you can reach out to us to ensure that we reach more youths who have really changed, who are role models in our community, so that we can share their stories to inspire many millions of persons with disabilities all over the world. So thank you so much for your time to listen to us. Till the next time.